a lot of time. I'd like to introduce the final person that will be giving a toast today. This person is actually a really amazing person, and I've known this person for quite a long time, I'd say, and this person is very smart. This person is very cunning in a good way. Very articulate. Yes, that's another good word to use. And I think this person is absolutely fantastic. So I'd like everybody to put your hands together for Mike Toy. Thank you. Some of you are really surprised. Who is this person? Okay. Anyways, thank you. I'd like to say the final words here in our little toast. I have a little thing kind of prepared. Okay, so it kind of goes like this. Grace, that is the sound you will hear for the rest of your life. Yeah.
He has personal experience.
And you know what? I'm not even going into the movement, okay? It's just the sound. And you're asking how I know this, right? I have been roommates with Dave, and I've even slept on the same bed as Dave more than once. Okay? So I am in a position of authority to testify how life is going to be like. Yes. And Grace, you know what? I was hoping you would come and talk to me, during the premarital phase and ask me, hey, you know Dave pretty well. What can I expect? I wanted to help you. I wanted to tell you. I just needed to be asked. But now, alas, Grace, it's a little bit too late now. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, but I forgot Christmas speech.
So we're toasting to snoring.
Notice Dave is not denying anything. So let's see here. Some people call it snoring. I call it speaking in tongues. Okay, and it's actually quite a spiritual experience. Not for me, for him. Okay, and for me, I'm trying to sleep. It's late at night. Have you guys been really, really tired? You just want to sleep. And, in your brain, there's this little switch, right? That moment, maybe 3 or 5 seconds in your brain, right before it switches to sleep mode. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you're sleeping. Well, I often reach that point where I'm just about to sleep, and then I can't. And for me, I'm pulling out my hair, and I'm saying, Lord, why are you punishing me? What have I done to deserve this? I confess my sins, even the sins I'm not aware of. Please let this thorn be taken from my side. Okay, hang on. It's hard to remember everything. Let's see here. So there are 3 words I would like to use to describe David, and they are the following: warm, thoughtful, kind. Oh wait, they're not meant for David. They're meant to describe grace. sorry, bad notes here. Okay. Let's see here. I do want to say something nice. Okay. Earlier today, he slipped me one of these. Okay, so I need to say the following. In David Grace, you have one of the finest Christian gentlemen I've ever met. Okay, that's all. That's all you get for 20. I met Dave through Gary, his older brother, who was just speaking a little earlier. I was in college at that time, and Dave, even at that time, was very cerebral. He thought a lot, analyzed a lot, and he would always be very emotionless. I think that's a very good word to describe Dave, emotionless. It kind of reminds me of Spock from Star Wars. Not Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah. The way he kind of is stage-like kind of reminds me of Yoda from Star Wars. And for me, I have gotten a lot of advice from Dave. I feel like I have gotten more advice from Dave than probably anybody else on this planet. I think
That's because he needs it.
Okay. I don't have to come back to that. Okay. So I'm just curious. By raise of hand, how many people have gotten advice from Dave and have implemented it? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 out of 160. Okay, the others of you, very smart people. Very, very intelligent, I can tell. And let's see, just a little plug. If you want your world to be flipped upside down, you should follow Dave on social media. Yeah, you're going to lose the respect of everybody around you, family, friends, you know. I'm not kidding there, because I did this, I pretty much agree with his post. And lost a lot of friends because of that, you know. But the good thing, though, is I remember the first time I met Grace. That was back in March of 2023. David was on his way to China, and he stopped by Taiwan, where I was living at that time, to hang out a little bit, and he told me, hey, you know what, I'm going to China. I was like, oh, so you didn't really come to visit me. You know, I mean, I kind of like second, not top option type of thing, you know. And I was cool with that, you know. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me one iota. And so I was thinking, why? Who are you going to visit in China? And he says, oh, I'm gonna visit Grace. And that was a name I've never heard of before. And so you got to understand a couple of things about Dave. China is very, very far from here, okay? Very, very far. So it's not exactly easy for him, because he needs a plan, take time off from work. And not only that, you know, Dave doesn't speak any Chinese. Like, he doesn't even know his own name in Chinese. Is that embarrassing or what? Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you should know your name, right? And so I thought, you know what? This might be a pretty serious thing, you know, to go shopping in China. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean. So, anyways, me and Dave, we've done a lot of things together, and we actually been to South Carolina. We've been to Tucson, China, his hometown, my hometown. We've been to 49ers NFC Championship game. We have long talks about a lot of conspiracy theories. Anybody is a conspiracy theorist? Can you raise your hand really quick? Okay, maybe like 5. The other people, I mean, there might be some closet conspiracy theorists, okay, because they want to keep their respect, in the public. So we talked a lot about a lot of things like 9/11, vaccines, government cover-up, etc., etc. Yes, and so the second time I met Grace, it was back in May, and May of this year.
October last year.
October?
Yeah, I bought your car.
Was that October?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I met Grace in October last year, and she bought my car. Yeah. Was it? You like that car?
Yeah, I like it.
See? Yeah.
Everybody like it when they see my car.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So if anybody wants to buy a car from me, let me know. Yeah. And then let's see here. Now, May of this year, I did see Grace again about 3 months ago, and this time it was a little bit different. And what was different about it is we were having dinner at really expensive, fancy type restaurant, place that you only go to once in a lifetime. Yeah, it's called Golden Corral. Yeah, and when we were eating there, right, I was amazed that Grace was not complaining. You know what I'm saying? Not your typical American girl who's like, you know what, I'm too good for this place. None of that. So she was actually very humble to eat like a commoner. Not that I would know how it feels to be a commoner, but just saying, okay? And I thought, hey, you know what? A girl who's eating at Golden Corral, that is a sign from heaven. That's a sign that this person is a real keeper. You know what I'm saying? You guys feel me? Yeah, okay. All right, I'll just pretend you guys feel me. Okay, here we go. So I have a few words of advice. To Grace, get yourself some earplugs.
Yeah, I got it from Shara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, great. All right, you got that covered. Let's see here. Quick word to Grace. Grace, thank you so much because I know you're going to make Dave happy in a way that I never could. So, thank you. Okay. There's only certain limits I would go. Next, okay, to David. This is advice for David. This is on the topic of understanding women. I want to say the following. I hope that was helpful. Let's see here. Actually, Dave is a person of much wisdom, and so I'm going to close with this. It's a story. It's kind of a wisdom parable that Dave kind of concocted out of his mind, because he's done better to do but to concoct these parables, okay? It's a parable of finding true love. A few years ago, he told me this. He said, Mike, finding true love is like walking through a pumpkin patch. I was like, wow, that's so deep. That's so deep, I don't even understand what he's saying. And I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, you can only go from one end of the pumpkin patch to the other end, okay? And that kind of represents your life. And the more you travel through the pumpkin patch, the older you get. And as you're traveling through the pumpkin patch, you see a whole bunch of pumpkins. There are pumpkins to your left, there are pumpkins to your right, there are pumpkins in front of you, but you can never pick up a pumpkin that is behind you. And these pumpkins represent different girls. Is that very flattering? Yeah. And so as a side note, a lot of people are wondering, if Dave is really Chinese, right? Because he's really dark, looks like a Filipino. Right? I know it's crossed your mind, but you don't feel comfortable asking that question to him. But the reason why he's so dark is because he's been in a pumpkin patch for a very long time. Yeah. When you're out in the pumpkin patch, the sun's gonna beat down on you, relentlessly, and it's gonna turn your skin a little crispy. Okay. So, anyways, back to the pumpkin patch analogy. So there are different kinds of pumpkins. Some pumpkins are petite. Some pumpkins are tall. Some pumpkins are mean-spirited. You know who you are. Not that there's anyone in this room, of course. And then there are some pumpkins that are kind. And there's some pumpkins that are clueless. Some pumpkins are very naive. Right? And so you got all these different pumpkins. Your job is to pick one pumpkin and exit the pumpkin patch. And that would be your wife, But the challenge is that the pumpkin also has to pick you. Okay, you can't just pick up a pumpkin, the prettiest pumpkin, and just leave, You can't do that. It needs to be reciprocal or reciprocated. And so I thought, wow, this is very deep. This is very deep. Because the further you are down the pumpkin patch path, the fewer pumpkins there are. Does that make sense? Yeah, because people getting married, fewer available pumpkins. Man, I'm losing some people here. Okay, anyways, let's see, what was I going to say? So I just want to say this. I want to say, today, David has found the most incredible pumpkin. Yes, and that pumpkin is you, Grace. Thank you very much, and we will now do our cake cutting.